do it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're
We're
doing it
doing it.
live.
We're doing it.
Hello. Hello.
We're doing
here.
it.
Hey,
Hello. Good
Hello.
evening. How is
Hello.
everyone?
good.
Good.
Cool. It's Monday night. It's time for Firelight Tales. It's time for the Titans Heirs. It's time for Erkengard and Abrea. I'm really excited about tonight. I don't know about you guys. I kind of do because you told me. But
Oh man.
what's going on?
Not much, man. I'm looking forward to this. I think I'm really looking forward to talking to some dwarves and getting a little color and maybe some more insight into what the dynasty is doing. Maybe they've done some recon or something, or have an idea of what's going on.
I mean, that's a thought.
I'm looking forward to pushing Rich to have to come up with 13 distinct voices and personalities for
that's awesome.
dwarf.
And all of their names.
Can we count on Crixus to bounce around to everyone so that we ensure Rich has to do 13 different voices?
It's very
You
Mike
can
energy.
ensure Eerie to record all of their names and their notes.
I've already got the music queued up.
Oh,
I was gonna be like, let's see if this works. I was gonna be like, dwarf number 2. Which is like the theme song to the dating game, but like, if you were a tree, what's a tree? I'm sorry, but yeah.
I'm from the mountains.
I think we need to know details of the house each one of them grew up in and what town.
The names are easy. I mean, I have 7 of them right off the bat. You know, it's like Sleepy and Grumpy and Sneezing. You know,
Yeah.
Rudolph and Dasher and Prancer and Donner, and you know. Cool. So you guys are all fired up. Everybody's doing well.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had
It's
a
a
big
Monday.
night. It is. It's a Monday, but we had a big night last night over here at Twitch TV DM Philly. We fired up Kings of Neon, our new City of Mist game, and I believe it was a great success. People seemed to very much enjoy it. I did totally mess my own audio up, and I'm off sync, but you can hear me, and that's the most important part. So won't happen next week.
I did have a few people tell me that, but I knew if I told you that during the stream, it would completely disrupt things. So
I would have
chose
figured
not
it
to.
out pretty quickly, but thank you for not disrupting me.
And, like,
I wish they would have
asked,
told me.
Our friend Troy is like, is it? Because I had someone from Sabotage reached out to me to let me know, and then I reached out to a couple other folks saying if they saw it and was it too disruptive or too bad, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of, but it's fine. It's kind of out of sync, but it's not bad. You're fine.
Yeah,
So I figured, you know what? Let's not stop the train.
Yep.
Don't let great be the enemy of good.
Yep, we can't let perfect be the enemy of good. That was my little preview that I made for it. Was the same thing. The audio mixing is like one of my weakest strengths. It's such like a multifaceted discipline to pull this stuff off. Like you're playing with the like graphic elements. I'm like working with like PDFs and just design, trying to get like Titans Heirs into like a publishable format. I'm messing around with like the back end production stuff, and yeah, the audio has Crafton. The audio has been like a continuous challenge for me to master, but I knew exactly like what I did when I saw it afterwards. I was like, oh, you fool, I knew this lesson already. Yeah. So won't happen next time. It's okay. I'm learning. I did muck around all afternoon trying to get my alerts live here so I could see all the wonderful new people coming into the chat and subscribing and following and all that. And I didn't get it finished. So there's my first broken promise of the night. Let's move right along. What else? You guys watching anything cool? Is there anything good happening in the world that we should check in on? Falcon and the Summer Soldier, Mike. What do you think? Episode 2?
Yep, it's pretty good. I like it. I'm also liking the Lost Pirate Kingdom on Netflix.
Oh, I have that. in my
We
queue.
started watching that.
That's
yeah.
pretty neat. I'm also reading a new book right now called Cersei by Madeline Miller, which is sort of like a retelling of mythology, especially around Cersei, the witch, and Odysseus.
Is that the Odyssey?
Yes, she appears in the Odyssey, and she's connected, and she's also related to Helios, and so it's really neat. It's a good novelization.
Cool.
Sweet.
Cool. I may have to check in on that. The book is just called Cersei.
Yes.
I'm going to put this on my list of things that Mike has given me to check out. Cool.
I've been reading Heroes Feast, the official D&D cookbook.
Oh my gosh.
I love it so
I
much.
just got through the halfling chapter. So many ways to prepare halflings. Yeah, I know. It's like it's all starters, amuse bouches.
Lothar is sweating right now, man. Lothar.
There's a lot of things, like every time it says, and for this you need a Dutch oven. I'm like, well, shit, and I skipped it. It's like there's a little kind of narrative introduction to each of the meals. It says like, and they're divided like it's like the human chapter, the elven chapter, the dwarven chapter, the halfling chapter, and then the others chapter where you've got like dragonborn and tieflings. And then it also says like, out of these 15 recipes, if an elf were to cast Heroes Feast, here's the 5 courses, here's the 5 or 6 dishes.
Oh, cool.
That's
it might
hilarious.
That is cool.
But there's a few of things in there that I think with my outfitted kitchen that I could potentially make.
You're quite a culinary masterworker. I mean, you're very humble about it, but you've got your stuff on point. I just want to point out this book for anybody who's out there, Leaves from the Inn of the Last Home. So Dragonlance, the Inn of the Last Home is depicted here in the village of Solus. It's like this big treehouse inn, and it's a very central location to my absolute favorite Dungeons and Dragons series of books, right? And Mike and John could attest, but like I got this when I was like 12 and started trying to cook many of the recipes from it. There's a whole, there we go. The Inn of the Last Home.
It's got the menu from the Inn of the Last Home.
Odaluke spiced potatoes, right?
Yeah.
Odaluke spiced potatoes are in there. This is like a very
Tia's
famous
recipe.
dish. Yeah. Tifa, I
I
think.
thought it was Tia. It's been a couple decades. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, I definitely read it last year, and so it's actually Tika, and I'm like, we're both.
Oh, you're right.
That's what's happening. I'm thinking of Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy because I'm listening to that podcast, and none of this has anything to do with D&D, but the book did, and it came with a bunch of recipes. Fizban's Fireball Chili, and I had the same thing.
Oh my
Kurt.
God! Yeah.
There's a recipe in here for roast woodchuck. And I live in the kind of place where I could source that, but I need a Dutch oven, and I was always like, well, someday I'll get a Dutch oven and make this woodchuck,
Oh my God. Speaking of D&D the video game, Baldur's Gate 3, they had an update recently, and druids are in the game now.
It's still in beta, right? Is that what's happening?
They've got like they have like. I forget what they're calling it. It's like the first like chapter or something. Like they have like a first like good chunk of it that's done, and my boyfriend and his buddy were like playing it like we did Divinity 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go through that, and I'm really excited and the druid, of course you can turn into a bear if you go Circle of the Moon, and it's white. It's a polar bear, and I was like,
nice.
This is the best thing ever. It's so fun.
I love the Baldur's Gate games. I know like John came up hard on Pool of Radiance, one of like the first classic D&D video games. I love Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights, like Icewind Dale. Those games were great, man.
Planescape Torment. Don't forget that one.
Don't forget that one indeed. Might be relevant soon over here.
And I watched the first episode of The Irregulars on Netflix, which was really cool. So it's the Baker Street Irregulars who help out Sherlock Holmes and Watson, but it's like got a supernatural twist to it. Mm-hmm. And Mike will be happy to know I subscribed to Disney Plus on Saturday, and since Saturday night I have watched all of WandaVision, all one of the Mighty Ducks episodes,
Still haven't.
and
Now I have to. Now I have
all 2 of Falcon Winter Soldier, so I can now geek out about all the Marvel stuff.
Good.
Dang
I'm
it!
really
Now
happy.
I'm left out. Okay, I got to do it.
I will not send you my login information. I just want to hype the Mighty Ducks reboot. It's so fun. My friends at Post Show Recaps, Kevin Maideo from Kings of Neon and Melissa Woodward, they're like doing a podcast about it, and like I'm just like so here for it. I rewatched all 3 Mighty Ducks movies last week. It was like I needed that much more than I realized. So I guess on that note, maybe we should play D&D.
Maybe.
Go ahead, Kurt. What was it?
Nope.
What was it?
Nope.
Last thought.
I'll say
Yeah,
Closing thought.
Do the put the period on the sentence.
Oh, I was just going to say, and also for anybody who is familiar with my archived work on Rob Has a Podcast, I covered a reality show, The Quest, which was combination reality show and interactive role-playing game. And pre-COVID, they were supposed to be filming a sequel to The Quest for airing on Disney+. So now I can watch that whenever it eventually comes out, but it probably won't get filmed until the world is slightly more free.
Bugbear with the big heads up. Shared logins are allowed for Disney+. Might be able to help you out.
I have access. I just haven't done it yet.
Well, that's an unacceptable answer.
I know.
Erie, make a wisdom saving throw.
I'm not good at those.
So, any questions, any mechanical things, any visitations, anything that we need to go over before we get back to it?
No.
Good?
We're good.
This is when I ask this question every week, and you guys just stare at me, and I'm like, okay. So, when last we left our heroes, the four of you, having made your way from Grenmis Gorge, from the tower therein, the clan of goblins, whom you saved from their corrupt chieftain, a being which turned out to be far more than they realized, or you maybe bargained for. Traveled over a couple of days. You were stalked by a displacer beast through the mountains. You found yourself approaching the tomb of Gural Khan, this great war hero from the First Age, being led there by this artifact, this relic that was handed down from Angus's father to him. And so as you approach this ancient tomb, just a mountain or two away from your final destination, in the sky overhead, you saw a terrifying flight, a full flight of wyverns with soldiers from the Sapphire Legion on their backs, led by a blue dragon, bearing a massive minotaur with an overwhelming morning star on his back. Melkanan, the first dragoon of the Legion, and terrified that they were about to drop in and open a combat with you, you realized that they were completely overlooking you to close on another group of individuals just over the peak before you. And so quickly ascending the peak, gaining vantage of what was arrayed out in front of you, you saw a band of dwarves fighting desperately for their lives in the canyons on the base of the mountain. Wyverns and riders arrayed all about them, dwarves fighting for their lives, riders with spears and bows laying them low left and right. And without much hesitation at all, the four of you, these youths from Erkengard, you charged down off of the peak, making your way down the slope as quickly as you could to engage these foes of yours, certainly, and the dwarves as well. An enemy of your enemy is your friend? Who knows? But a deadly, desperate fight took place. You killed wyverns, you killed soldiers, dwarves fell all around you. And in the final moments of this kind of frantic battle, Crixus Copperstone called out a prayer to Ruldo, the Mirthful, and he was able to bring vitality and life back into these fallen soldiers, laying on the ground, their lifeblood bleeding out from them. And as they kind of pulled themselves up to their feet, their eyes wide with wonder and amazement that they had survived this desperate attack on them, their leader stepped forward and he swore a vow to Vala, the Just Mother, a name that perhaps some of you know and others don't. And taking in the sight of you all, he stood with tears rolling down his face in pure amazement. And that is where we pick up tonight. So, the four of you, with Lothar the halfling standing just behind you, you're on a bit of an outcropping. The dwarves are in this kind of ravine that's spread out in front of you in multiple directions, and they all begin to like grab up their weapons and they gather around this one that appears very clearly to be their leader. He has this kind of wild mohawk, this thick beard of like deep brown hair streaked with just some wisps of white you might be able to evoke right here. And so I think that he steps forward, looking up at the lot of you, Crixus out in front, and he just calls out like, "Who are you? How did you find us?"
I'm gonna walk over next to Crixus because I think he was out in front by the edge of the cliff.
He was.
Or the rise. I don't think it's so much a cliff, but
well,
and I just want to look at you, Crixus, real quick before I answer him. Like, do you really look chewed up? Like, what kind of shape are you in? Because you were stuck on the other side of that log and taking arrows. You're good.
There was definitely at one point I looked really beat up, but now I look all polished and new and shiny.
Some bloody clothes. But
because Angus cured him for 13. I mean, 13's obviously not full, but
okay. All right. So I'm just gonna look off the rocks and just say to him, you know, we saw the flight. We saw the flight of the wyverns.
Does Crixus still look like a dwarf? I forget. Or
Yes.
did he drop that? Okay.
Yes.
Very good point. Crixus, having used his ability to alter his own shape, stands short and squat, even in height with Hulric, maybe even a little bit shorter, as Hulric is a very tall dwarf.
I tower over everybody.
Yeah.
It's awkward.
Rich, how deep is the ravine from where I'm standing?
Is it
About
more of a
15
gully?
feet.
Is it more of a gully, Rich? Are these gully dwarves?
No, they are not. They are not gully dwarves. No. Good callback from the end of the last home, but no, these are dwarves. These are ravine dwarves.
Ravine dwarves. Okay.
Rich, can I use I was wondering if I could kind of like slide down this ravine cliff as well as using my I'm thinking like maybe the dynamite chisel. I could use that to like kind of like go against the rock because it's pretty sharp.
To kind of slow your fall, yeah, you pull the chisel out.
Yeah.
Yep, and you're able to kind of like, you slide down, right? One hand kind of bracing underneath you, the chisel like dragging behind as you hit the ground in front of these dwarves. And they're all like kind of wide-eyed looking at you. You hear some like whispers amongst each other.
I'll make my way down too.
And then what I do is I walk over to the Mohawk, the leader, the man who was the Mohawk, the dwarf. I dwarf over to the dwarf with the Mohawk, and as a dog would shake itself out, like when it's wet, that's what Crixus does. And while he shakes himself out, he kind of metamorphoses back to the lovable, cute Crixus that everybody knows.
Nice.
As he shakes, his size grows. Yep. The tail like slowly getting longer and longer with each shake until it's like snaking around behind you. And I think that we hear this like gasp like and this one like lead dwarf, he like stands suddenly taller, his chest puffing out, and his eyes like dart to you, Hulric, and then he like looks up at the top of this rock outcropping where Hulric is standing with, or I'm sorry, Angus is with Eerie, and Lothar comes into sight, and he like scowls a bit, and he quickly looking back at you, Crixus, like.
And then I say to him, "Hi, I'm Crixus, and these are my friends, and we just found you by accident."
Eerie will like slide down the hill. Yeah.
Angus will stay up because if it is kind of a ravine, then there's probably not as good of a view of the surrounding area from down there.
Yep. Okay. And so I think that this mohawked dwarf, like looking to you, Crixus, he says, by accident. And he like looks at you, Ulrich, like, and I think he says in Dwarven. Can we just get like a status check? Who else speaks Dwarven here?
I feel like I know written Dwarvish. Yeah, I know written Dwarvish, but not actual Dwarvish.
How did you pull that off? What
Gnomish. With Gnomish, I know written
it's
Dwarvish.
the same alphabet. Okay, we'll talk about that later.
It's like, yeah, it's like French uses the same alphabet, but it can't.
It's a lot of
like,
etymology
in
there.
my languages, it just says Gnomish, and then in parentheses it says written Dwarvish.
Fascinating. Okay. And so I think
I speak Dwarvish.
I think that he looks to you then, Ulrich, and he's like glancing up at the miniature, and I think Lothar is still probably just out of sight behind you, Angus, but this Mohawk guy says to you, Ulrich, like, in Dwarvish. What about you, Crixus? Dwarvish? No Dwarvish?
No Dwarfish.
No Dwarvish. So he says in Dwarvish, you don't understand him, Crixus, but he says, are you about to do the same then? Are any of you dwarfs?
I say back to him in Dwarven that I can't shake like that. I have a headache after the battle. I'll do it later. And I smile, you know. So
Angus is like, not a dwarf in Dwarvish.
No, I tell him, yeah. I'm a real dwarf.
Dwarvish is a Germanic language. That's very funny. Thank you.
Ich bin ein Dwarf.
You mean dwarves? That's not a love language? Come on. Yeah.
Can be. Depends about your needs, you know. if you like a good cobbler, a woodworker, they really, you know. And so I think that he's like looked to you, back again to you, Crixus, like, who are you, Crixus Copperstone? Who are your friends?
Oh, I didn't hear your name first. Sorry.
No, you didn't, did ya? And he like glances back, looking, and like we see him quickly like scanning this array of dwarves as they kind of all gather in this cluster, right, in the midst of this convergence of these ravines. And he's like, I do believe you saved the lives of me boys and girls here. So I suppose a name I owe ya.
Hello, everyone.
And I think one of them is like, hi, and we see the other one like slap his hand.
And I turned around. I said, "This is Ulrich. That's Eerie over there, and that's Angus with the horns, and behind Angus is Lothar. I think. Can I see Lothar or no?"
Yeah, Lothar just kind of peeks out, and it's at this point that like the leader with the mohawk here, he says to you, he says, "I be called Baudry Ironstave."
Well, Gesundheit.
And I think as he sees Lothar popping out from behind, he's like, your friend there, he looks to be arrayed the same as this lot that came dropping out of the sky to spill our blood.
He's our prisoner.
Well, yes. He's our reluctant traveling companion who helped take down a wyvern and a rider in your defense. So, give him the benefit of the doubt.
Did he dirty up the color of his armory? Was that something that he'd done?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like standard issue gear. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And like,
Because I had him put a shirt on like over his stuff.
You did. You gave him a baggy Eerie shirt. Still, I think that like it's clearly obvious to you. This guy's pretty keen, right? And like he's seeing this, and he's like, I cannot deny that. More than one of us would have fell here if it weren't for you. You just found us then.
Your name is Mr. Irons. What was the last name again, Mr.
Ironstave.
Ironstave.
I thought he said Stain. That makes way more sense. See, I'm happy I called it better for a second.
It's the eternal curse of the Dutch master. What's his name? Moist? Ironstain? What?
It takes me back to our are days when you would play a beholder and I could not understand a single thing you were saying, but I couldn't tell the great evil monster that I couldn't understand what he was saying. So I'm just like, yep.
So he says again, he says, Baudry, Iron Stave.
That's a way better name.
You look. He's like looking at you now, I think, like realizing like you look kind of young for a dwarf, Ulrich, you know. He doesn't have a great gauge, but Eerie, like I think obviously looks very young. Crixus is like just wild. He has no gauge for that, you know. And he's like, what in the name of the shepherds are you lot doing out here?
That's really, wow, it's a coincidence that we met you because, and then I looked to everybody. I looked at Ulrich. Kind of looking at him, giving him the eyeballs. Like, should I say something? Should I not say something?
I think Ulrich looks up, and he turns back to him and he goes, "Maybe we should continue this conversation undercover."
Agreed.
I didn't have any great cover, I'll be honest with you. We have a camp not far. We were making our way, well, elsewhere, but we need to gather our belongings. If you'll walk,
okay.
Perhaps we trade some words on the way.
We can do that.
That sounds.
Now, two got away, right?
Yeah, he calls out in Dwarvish to the rest of them. He's like, Dwarves, get your weapons. Get the gear off these corpses. We best get moving quick like. And the dwarves are all like, aye, Captain. And they all like break, right? And you see them like kind of running over to the corpses. They like work the bodies over very quickly. They're stripping weapons. Yeah, that's right. They're stripping weapons. They're grabbing like supplies, right? Water purses, wine skins. They're like grabbing you see them like snapping bows and like they're just like grabbing up the arrows. Yeah.
Can I come up with a replacement short bow and some arrows?
Yes. Yeah, and I think Lothar scurrying down. He like looks to you before he goes, Angus, and he's like, this crossbow really shit the bed on me. I don't know if the dwarf wants it back, but I'm gonna need something because it seems like I'm pot committed to you lot at this point. Probably something's gonna try to kill us again.
Angus just looks at him in a moment and just nods.
I'll take the short bow back.
Okay, and I think that he says to you, Angus, like he like pauses for a minute before he goes, and he's like, I know you haven't said much about me being here, and I know you're not thrilled, but I'm not going to try to hurt your friends. It's clear you've got the upper hand, but it's too late for me to go back now.
Do what you need to do.
I just want to make sure we can get onto the right foot even if we didn't start there. And he just like nods.
Yeah, so I think that little one, I think that's not a bad idea. But for now, it sounds like you've got a weapon there you need to take care of, eh? So before those dwarves walk away with every little last scrap and weapon, maybe go see what you can do.
Okay, yeah, and he like scurries down the rock face real quickly, and I think you hear him yelling out like, "Hey, dwarf, please, I'm gonna need." Oh, crack! One of the dwarves like cracks the bow, like, "No, I need that one, and he like goes like racing off with the dwarves, you know. And so as he does, I think Baudry, looking like you other three, Eerie, Ulrich, like Eerie, as you come walking up, he like gives you a little nod, and he's looking over at you, Crixus, like, you say that one's your prisoner? I saw him fighting with you. We trust him to carry weapons in?
Yeah.
It's kind of painted into a corner.
Rich? Oh, I'm sorry.
I just say to him, he's kind of painted into a corner. He can either fight with us, be killed by the dynasty, or die out here alone. So for now, he fights.
What were you going to say, Crixus? What are you saying to him?
Well, before I even said anything, I just want to take a look at Mr. Ironstave and see how he's doing. Like, I'm kind of examining all the dwarfs and see, like...
He's got up. He's, like, bleeding pretty badly. He's got on, you see, like, plate mail armor. He's got a shield, war pick, Most of the other dwarves appear to have crossbows and picks themselves. They're wearing like chainmail and stuff like this, heavy boots. But, like, a lot of the dwarves are like banged up a little bit, but Beaudry is like cut pretty badly. You know, he's got like blood kind of coming down off of his temple and into his beard. You know, like dents and slashes on his like armor and his clothes.
So I tell him, well, Lothar is very interesting. Time will tell to see what really happens with him, but he's kind of cute, so I do like to have him around. And I heal, what's it called? I heal Mr. Ironstave for. Do you want me to roll for that? I'm gonna spend some cure.
Yeah. What does it look like? What do you do? What do we see when you're healing him? Like, what does he see?
Well, what I do is I when I say the last line to him, I kind of lean over to him. Well, you know, he's kind of cute, and I kind of touch his arm, and I like to keep him around, and then that's when I heal him.
Oh, it's like stealth heals.
Stealth heal.
I like to think that Crix has picked that up from Angus, who's, you know, a big fan of the pat on the shoulder while, like, good job while he heals you.
Wow, Crixus with the higher level
Nice.
spell slots. It's 11 back to Beaudry. And I think that you see this wound up on his temple begin to like kind of close and heal a little bit. And I think he like now he's looking at you and you're like kind of turquoise eyes, Crixus, and he's just like, I heard you whisper a name there, boy. Whisper may be the wrong word for it. You cried it out with pride.
Oh, you mean my father?
I look over and just give him a wink and a nod.
Yeah.
Ruldo.
Ruldo. He says,
Yeah.
Ruldo the Merfolk.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right, Mr. Ironstave. I think that's what he tells me in my head.
And then I think you hear the voice in your head, Crixus, like, if I'm not your father, who could it be?
Exactly.
And so Beaudry is just like, that's a name I've heard before, but not one I expected to find on the lips of wanderers in these mountains. The fates have conspired, it seems. Come, let's get walking. And so the dwarves are like all kind of assembling back, like, we've taken care of it, Captain. And so you guys all start walking. And I
It's
think
like
as-
nothing but skeletons of the dwarves. Like, they really picked them over.
And I think as you're walking, Beaudry is just like, this here is Greng, that's Amos, Bindle, Rapon, Mezer, Kringle, Donnell, Hester, Landry, Mecker, and Emmett. And this is Brunhild.
No, this is what you're doing right now.
I'd like a list, please.
Right. I can only remember things from right to left. Could you repeat that in the opposite?
I can, yes. This here is Brunhild,
He
Emmett,
wrote it
Mecker,
down.
and Landry, Hester, Donny, Kringle, Mezer, Rapon, Bindle, Amos, Greng. I'm Beaudry Ironstave.
Bindle? Did I hear Bindle in there?
Indeed. Bindle was me brother's nephew.
Okay.
So your nephew
Yeah,
or your son?
It's like those names. It's like a Firelight Tales boys band or something. Just the way you read it off, it was awesome.
They're not all boys.
Hester?
There's a good deal of ladies among them.
Oh,
I caught
that's
Hester,
insane.
which is maybe a lady.
Indeed, Hester, Landry, Donald, and
Wait.
Brunhild.
And Brunhild, right. Beaudry?
That's right.
Can I call you Beaudry? Is that fine? You seem kind of like a captain. Should I call you like Captain Beaudry?
No, please. That's likely to get me shot in the head if somebody overhears us. It's what my mother called me, and you can call me the
No.
same.
No offense, but your appearance, I feel like you're very intimidating, and you can kind of tell. But it's okay. Did I hear you were talking about us calling out to Ruldo, but did I hear you calling Vala?
I think he's like glancing around at the lot of you, and he's like looking back towards Lothar, who's like following kind of a bit behind you all, you know. He's like, "Aye, you did. Do you know the name?"
Know something of it. So, I mean, it's clear that you're not friends of the dynasty, but are you followers of the shepherds? Believer in them?
He like glances back at this row of dwarves, you know, Lothar, and he says, "I follow what's right in me heart. I don't follow no one else. But the shepherds, well, they guide us when we least know it. That's what I was taught as a boy, at least."
That's something of what we were taught as well, and obviously we're still a little in the learning process.
That's good. Means you're still alive. Me dad used to say the day you're done learning is the day they dig your grave.
Yeah. Yeah, I live by that, actually. Have you been up here long in the Drakencairns?
I think you hear a voice from behind, like in low kind of voice, like, too long. And Baudry's like, months. I kept track of the days for a time, but we had a harrowing run not 2 fortnights ago, and I lost a good bit of me records. Not sure exactly how long now, but it's well over 100 days.
Did you know anybody from up here?
No, I did not. Are
You
you
weren't
all from
visited,
here, then?
something like that.
You have a home nearby?
Not anymore.
Ulrich looks at him. The dynasty destroyed our town. The one place we knew, the place we grew up. We've been running.
That's why they're here, then, huh? Oh, well, I'm sorry for it.
As far as we know, I think they're patrolling for stragglers.
Yeah.
I think he glances at Crixus at this point.
Then I glance back and they say, "Guess where we're going? You're not going to believe it."
Where are you going?
I kind of like pause again. I look to everybody, and everyone says,
Go ahead.
"Oh, Eerie, it's the tomb of
Garal Khan.
Garal Khan."
How do you know the name of that place? Well, I mean, if you're raised here, of course you'd know it, wouldn't you? Must be a famous hero in the place you grew up.
I think I found it on a map.
We were given a map. I asked if you knew anyone because the person who gave us this map patrolled, more explored these peaks, and it's a druid, a Nalagi druid.
I've never heard of a Loghi before, but druids I know. The ones that I've met are all good folk. Keep us safe where I come from. I'm sorry for your loss. And I think that he mutters like in Dwarvish to you, Ulrich, like, are they hunting the boy then, Copperstone?
We think that's definitely a possibility.
I ain't seen none like him where I come from.
Neither have we.
Well, that's reassuring then. He's like, and I think that he looks back to you, Crixus, and he's like, your father, Ruldo. Have you met him? Did you come from the Copper Warrens?
I don't know. I really haven't met him, no. but I don't know about you, but I'm kind of hungry. What do you guys have to eat tonight? Do you have any food?
Aye, we've some, yeah. We took
Well,
down a few big goats last week, like, still some meat from that left.
Oh, anything else besides goats?
He's partial
Well.
with sweets.
Sweets, huh? Bindo! He, like, yells back, and I think, like, one of the dwarves comes running forward. And Bindle has, like, this really long, drooping mustache that's, like, woven into these braids that then kind of, like, roll up over his ears and braid into the back of his hair, you know? His hair is, like, blonde. He's got a tattoo on his temple of what looks like an eagle flying, you know? And Bindle comes running up. Hi, Captain, what is it? And Baudry's like, give the boy some of their candies then. And Bindle's like, we don't have give them to the boy. And they're like, all right, Captain, all right. And he, like, walks over next to you, Crixus, and he starts, like, fumbling at, like, this pouch he's got. He untethers it.
So do I.
In his pouch. You're grabbing for his pouch. I think there's a moment when he's like, settle down, boy, settle down now. This is a special family, no, you won't.
Can I smell what he has? Because of my senses?
Make a perception check.
It's awesome.
Yeah, Angus doesn't carry songbooks. He carries cookbooks for
The only dwarven dessert listed in here is black pudding.
Yum.
That's dangerous. That's a very risky dessert to go for right there.
Oh my goodness, he's got bags of shit he's trying to give me.
Bindle manages to like yank the pouch away from you a little bit. What'd you get on your perception check, Crixus?
Critical 1.
Oh, you smell nothing, but you know.
I don't smell anything in this bag. You sure you have anything? And I look at him and I give him an eye. My eyes kind of glow a little bit. Do you
Hey,
really
easy, friend. Whoa, settle down, please. You saved me brother over there, and so I'm inclined to be grateful to you, but there's no need for all the intimidation. You're quite tall.
Well, I get on my knees then.
Oh, no, that's not going to do. We're walking. Get up, boy. And he, like, yanks you from your armpit. Here, try one of these. And he hands you, it's this small, like, a gray thing, maybe like this big. It doesn't seem, like, particularly attractive looking. It's like this solid, like, gray looking thing. It almost looks like a pebble. But you see little flecks of green in it.
Do I know what it possibly could be? Or with my herbalism?
Yeah, go for it. Make an herbalism plus intelligence check. Use your herbalism kit plus intelligence.
Oh, okay. Let me switch that then.
Rich, I'm kind of trying to, as we're walking, I'm still at the top of the ravine. I'm trying to stay at a high level as much as I can.
Above the ledge. Okay, so they're kind of moving through this ravine, and you're like hiking along up on the top of the ledge. And I think Baudry like looks over to you, and he's like, "You have a minotaur. Where do you come from, then?" He's like asking Ulrich and Eerie.
Well, I'm thinking, like, are there a lot? I mean,
were there a lot, Kurt? You weren't, right?
I think it was just my dad and me, and then he got killed.
Mm-hmm.
So no.
Yeah.
So no.
Not very many. We were quite a variety of people in our town.
What'd you get in your roll, Crixus?
I rolled a 6, so I don't think
No clue, but he hands you this little pebbly thing, and he's like, just pop it in your mouth there. Don't chew it all at once. I don't have a bunch of them. You have to make them last.
All right, so I try. That's what I do.
You throw it in your mouth, and there's like this overwhelming like sweetness all of a sudden. It's like sugar concentrated to an extent that like you probably have never tasted before. And you're like, whoo-hoo! It's delightful. But there's like a distinct like spearmint kind of like, you know, menthol effervescence like flowing out of it, right? Immediately it like rolls through your nasal passages. You feel this kind of clearing, like effervescent.
I pick Bindi up and I spin him around and I go,
yeah! Oh my word, yes, it's quite good, isn't it? It's a family recipe.
Aw.
I found a way. We scrap the sap off of the bushes here that grow these scrubs. Some of these ones like that, they have a real thick, sugary concentration to them. You got to get the knife right in there off the bark. You mix it with some of the spearmint herbs, boil it up over a fire.
I turned to Ulrich. Ulrich, he's speaking Dwarvish. What is he saying? And I just
Oh,
smiled.
just
It's
smiles and shakes
delicious.
his head.
Thank you so
Can I write
much.
that down, that recipe?
That's my family's recipe. You want to write it down? We'll have yourself a little sit. You can read then.
Yep.
I wasn't so sure. They always told us back at home that you lot out here in the wilderness, you didn't know your ass from your elbows. Couldn't even fold a quill the right way. And I think one of the other dwarves is like slaps him in the back of the head, you know, like, shut your mouth, Bindle. What the hell are you talking about? Don't be turning them off. The boy saved our lives. And so Baudry's like, enough. He
I'm
says,
gonna ask Baudry, where was home?
oh, far away. It's a far away. Don't worry much about that.
Well, what are you doing all the way out here?
Well, we're looking for something long lost.
Am I sharing?
Are you sure you trust this halfling with you? Are you sure he doesn't have a way to speak back to him? He's not going to betray you.
We're
Nope.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
But we kind of like left him for dead, and then he kind of like came back to us somehow, and that's when he became the reluctant traveler. We're not. I think we've pretty good. Pretty good.
I think he calls back, like, he, like, whistles back for a second. Brunhild! Get the halfling in the back of the row. I want eyes on the back of us. He's got keener sight than a lot of us. If you see anything flying through the sky, creeping through these ravines, I want to hear about it. We go in the silent march, you understand? Double time, dwarves, double time! And he, like, looks at the two of you like, come on. And he starts, like, jogging ahead from the group a little bit.
Oh gosh.
Crixus, do you hang out with Bindle, or do you, like, race off with them?
I'll race off with Mr. Einstave.
Okay, so you start like trotting ahead with Eerie and Halric and Baudry. Angus, you see the dwarves now, like kind of the group like falls back a little bit, and I think at this point Baudry Ironstave like reaches up and he places his hand over his heart for a moment, right? And you hear him murmuring a whisper of words. He's clearly like casting magic, and like he washes his hand over the back, and suddenly like the clanking and jangling of these dozen dwarves with their armor and their weapons and their heavy boots like goes silent. There's nothing. You hear nothing from behind. And I think he whispers quickly to the three of you up here. Angus, you could probably like make a perception check to see if you can hear him from up high on the ravine.
Also, Eerie would like wave to Angus a little bit, like, "Come on, Angus." No, I'm good. I'm good.
He's being
Angus
safe.
has a 15 perception.
You hear this as Baudry, like, kind of low voice, like he's cast this globe of silence over the dwarves in the back, so he knows they can't hear him. He's not like whispering, you know. But he says, we've come a far way from a place I cannot reveal. Under pain of death or worse punishment, I will not speak of how to get back there, and I couldn't lead you there if I tried. But we've been sent seeking the tomb of Guralkan. He was
Oh, wow.
He was a great general from the first age, one of the few who trained in the arts of warcraft after the first arrival. 1,000 years of peace and too many of his and ours and all you lot. We gave up the ways of violence. We weren't ready to defend when the invasion came. But Gural Khan, well, he rose up those who kept here in these hills. He fought at the side of the Titans. And the day he died was a great victory from what we've been reading. His death was one amongst thousands that paid the price to drive off the Sapphire Legion for a good 10 years before they pushed back through. But by the legends and the lore that I read before we came out this way, the very last titans known to walk the realms Abrea were here in these mountains. A family, they called them, the clan Erkengard.
The name of our town was Erkengard.
We are Clan Erkengard.
No, it cannot be. Did you... Dare I even ask, did you have one of the titans amongst you? Any of them? Have you met a titan? Do you know where they are? Do any yet live?
To speak plainly, you know that they're looking for Crixus. And I kind of look at Crixus. From information that we found out so far, it's possible that Crixus was placed with Clan Erkengard, or near it, the start of it, to be protected by it and stay here and be a Titan's heir.
They found me, Mr. Ironstave. I came from an egg. A stone egg.
Is that so?
Mm-hmm.
And your father, who taught you of him? Did somebody...
He taught me.
And I think he looks to the other two of you, Eerie and Hallright,
I've heard the voice in his head. It was laughing at me, but it's real.
I'll tell you the truth of it. You saved our lives. I can see that you're young. I see the pain in your eyes when you talk about this home that you lost. I saw you spill the blood of a dozen Legion's troops. He says, but I'm in service to the just Mother of Allah. I give her my prayers, for her ways are the ways of my kin and in my heart. And we come on the behalf of those who yet hold out hope, but are too feared to act against our enemies. I did not expect to run into dynasty troops up here in this remote part of the world, but we knew we might. I'm not well versed in the ways of the world outside my home, nor are me lot here. He says the boys and girls with me, they're good fighters, good soldiers. They know how to keep themselves alive in hard places, but we're not ready for all of it.
We know that now that they have seen Crixus and us, they're after us. But we also know that they're here to go to Titan's Hall.
Aye, the Hall of the Titans. That was the place that they forged it.
Yeah.
The Mall, he says. The Mall of the Titans. They say that that's what Gural Khan held. That it was his own strength, blessed with the weapon made by his Titan brothers, that allowed him to stand for as long as he did. In the story I heard, he stood upon a mountain peak and smote down a dragon with his own two hands, and naught but the hammer of the Titans clutched in it. We're here looking for what's left of them, the last Titan, if they yet live. But if we cannot find them, we're supposed to find them all.
Okay.
Whatever else may have been buried with them. But I'd be willing to bet me beard and that of half me boys here that darn dragon is there right now as we speak.
Yeah. We saw
And
it.
so I think at this point, you guys, you come to this kind of another fork in all these ravines, right? And he's like, We got ourselves a camp down this way. We thought it was as defensible as anywhere we could find. There's fresh water. And our backs up against the rocks, which is how we like it when we can find it. There's no good cover from above, but we'll have to break down our gear, our camp. We can rest if you need. I know my kin are gonna need it before I push them harder. We were hiking through the night before these wings dropped down on us. We'll break bread and share food, but I'll be quite honest with you. I'd just as soon crush the skull of that poor halfling before I speak a word of any of this in front of him. If you trust him, then so be it. But
I would rather him not hear this either, so we can figure something out. If it comes to that.
I just look at him and be like, I already dealt with this, so it's up to the rest of you. Whatever you want to do.
He like snorts a little bit, like, where I'm from, we are taught not to judge by that which lies outside, but that which is in. I've heard of what happens in the dynasties. Lots of folk, they get swept up in things bigger than them. It ain't easy to push back. We believe that, like an avalanche, if we can set enough pebbles loose, it'll start movement of something bigger than the first stones that are thrown. But there's too many of us that are afraid to throw those rocks and make something happen. I don't know if he's redeemable or not, but I've sworn vows.
He told us he was forced into service, and he has lived this life for a while, and he had a family, and seems regretful, but he didn't have another option. So, he's been helpful so far. I don't know if I trust him. Don't know if we trust him at all, but
He's with us because he knew too much. He's with us because he knew where we were headed. And we were concerned if he was recaptured, what he might do with that information. We don't have any reason to believe he's actively communicating, but we haven't been watching him for that either.
Fair enough. And so I think at this point they like he's like calls to you, Angus, and he's like, "Do you see anything?" I think you're muted, Kurt.
I rolled a 19 on perception. Do I see anything?
As you like scan the skyline, you see no sign of wyverns. As you scan the hilltops and the rocks, you see no prowling displacer beasts. Merely the mountains around you. This small kind of stream running down off the edge of one of them. You could see the camp of the dwarves like arrayed in this one kind of gully, but it seems like there's nothing predatory or dangerous closing in.
A gully. Okay, just making sure.
This is a gully. Okay. This is a gully. God damn it. He got me, you guys. He got me.
So the sky looks clear, eh? It doesn't look like there's anything that's following us either by land or by the air, and so I think we're good, eh?
He says you may as well make your way down then. The cliffs only get steeper over here. Not so easy to scale.
You betcha.
And so at this point, like the dwarves behind, they're all kind of like in this like silent, like dome of silence. And I think we see like the magic fades as we hear the like clanging. And I think we hear Lothar's voice like, "Does he do that all the time? That's really disconcerting, but it seems like it's probably pretty useful. Gosh, you guys, you really don't get very tired, do you? I'm used to riding on things. There's a lot of running." Are we there?
Lothar, remember what we said about talking?
Right. Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Just, you're trying to run. Don't talk and run.
We hear him like saying to one of the dwarves, they don't like me to talk very much. I'll shut up now. You know,
Does Angus make it down the cliffside fine, the ravine?
yeah. Yeah, it takes you a little bit like to scrabble down, but it's not too hard. But as he like leads you into the gully where the camp is, you see that there's like 4 tents. There's a couple of like boxes and crates around. There's like the like remains of like a small fire pit that seems to have been put right out. And as the dwarves come up behind, I think Beaudry starts like calling out to him. He's like, "We'll take some time to gather ourselves before we push off. But 2 of those dogs got away from us, and there's a dragon in the sky with a dark knight on its back." He says, "If I know how my whiskers grow, I'd be willing to bet that we ain't seen the last of them this day. We're going to have to..." Yeah.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. Come on.
I think he just says, "We're going to have to break down and move before we want." He says, "I want 3 of you at each of the entrances. The rest of you, short shifts, sleep, eat." Dwarf jokes. Hashtag dwarf jokes.
Oh.
So I'm looking around. Are there any like parts of the elevated area that appear to have deep snow on it? So I guess the question I'm really thinking is, could Erie erect her dome in one of these little like coves, and we could push snow off the higher points onto it to kind of make like
sure.
a truly
Well, I was gonna say, like,
shelter?
how big is this space?
What's that?
This space
She can just
that
make
we're
it
in?
white.
I can just make it white.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can make the outside like opaque in different colors, but you can make it white. I mean, it's about 30 feet across inside the ravine where these guys are kind of camped up, you know.
Yeah.
You hear, like, there's this little river back here. It's open a little wider at this part, almost like 50 feet.
Mm-hmm.
The edges, like, there's not deep snow, you know, like, we're into the spring now. This is that thing where there's still like some snow clinging up here, but most of it is like thin kind of frost drifted here and there, you know. There's no like deep, like 2-foot, you know, snow banks or anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, but I guess if we made the dome, put everybody in it so they could come and go as they please, and then threw some of those rocks on it that are on the ground, if she made it white, it would be reasonably camouflaged.
There's a maximum capacity though.
Yeah, we cannot fit everybody in a 20 by 20.
No, you cannot fit 18.
There's 18. I didn't realize there were that many here.
Well, there's 13
plus us
dwarves and you
Well,
5.
plus the
Yep.
True,
19 plus Lothar. Wait, no, Lothar's part of the.
Well,
sorry,
there
we're-
is one of you 5. Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it's like,
well,
you know,
that's
like
incredibly
six or
presumptuous.
6 or 8 creatures.
one day I'll be able to hopefully have some cool
All
stuff.
right.
One
day.
day more.
One day.
Sorry.
Um,
So yeah, I think Beaudry is just like, here, we don't have much to share, but as he comes in, like, he goes to like one of the crates and he kind of pulls the top over, and you see the crates each have like these leather straps on them where like you could easily put them on as a backpack, right? These dwarves are clearly like carrying these crates through the fucking mountains,
easily.
you know? Yeah.
Up and
Like,
down
you're
mountains.
kind of
dwarves.
like wow, these are like really
Right.
hardcore dwarves,
Jeez.
you know? Like, oh boy. But so he like lifts up and he takes out like this kind of like wrapped bit of leather, and he opens it up and like offers it over to Crixus, and he like gestures down like he says, "I don't know what more I could answer for you, but I've certainly got questions. How long has it been since your village burned?"
I'm going to sit down with my crossbow and start restringing it.
Mm-hmm.
Eir will like sit next to Beaudry because of course she has questions.
Mhm.
But how long has it been? A few days? Not that long.
We
It's
took a
been, like,
rest.
over
We took
10
a rest
days.
when we were being chased by this displacer beast. Did we take a rest with the goblins? No.
Mhm.
We
No,
did?
you didn't, but like you spent the night there, right? It was the whole thing. It's been like about 11 days. It's been about
Right.
a 10 day because you guys were in the
Okay.
tunnels for quite a time.
Yeah, we spent a lot. We've only been on the surface for like 3 or 4 days, but we were in the tunnels for a while.
Yeah, so I tell him that it's been
And he's
Nearly
like,
a 10 day.
And
Yeah.
that's when you caught the halfling then.
He was part of a patrol that tried to chase us down and kill us. We took out the patrol. And I don't know what changed in him, but originally he was remorseless. You know, he had no desire to be a part of us. So I killed him.
It's funny because it's true.
I go, and Crixus decided that wasn't a good idea and brought him back. So then they left him for dead, because that's way better than just killing him. Anyway, but
that's not how it went down exactly. But thank you though. I wanted to bring him along, but I got outvoted.
So
we left him for dead.
We left him for dead.
We left him to escape and be on his own in the wilderness.
Right. So he was captured, and then we happened upon him again. It's the short version. So, but he realizes he doesn't have much of a choice. He doesn't have very many options. So,
what does your father say about him then, Copperstone?
I will tell you real quickly though that the first time we faced a wyvern with a rider on it, there was so much trembling fear that he couldn't draw his bow. He was absolutely petrified, and it seemed very genuine.
I think he looks to you, Crixus, and he's like, "What does your father say about him?"
I don't really remember much if he said anything, but the interesting thing is that I guess my father allowed me to bring him back from the dead, which is must be something, right? That's saying a lot. I don't think I could do that normally.
That's saying quite a lot without so many words, isn't it?
I would say so. I look at Hultbrook.
I do think that there's a lot of, I'm afraid to say it, but fate woven in. And I don't think it's a mistake that we met you here.
Vala teaches us to protect home and hearth, to keep safe the old and the young who cannot protect themselves, but also to keep our hearts open.
Who is Vala?
We would keep them guarded. Vala is like chuckles a little bit.
Would I know? I'm also trying to think about, maybe is this a religion or something?
Sure. Would you know? Like, you tell me, I guess, Crixus, would you know? But go ahead and make a religion check. Yeah. If you think like there's a chance. Yeah, make a religion check.
Crixus forgets things quite often, so he's going to try to think if he remembers anything.
Would Eerie know?
Nope.
Would you get?
Crixus doesn't remember anything. He's like,
Eerie, you certainly would be most likely to know, either you or Angus. So, like, you tell me religion or history, probably. Like, a religion check would give you a little more insight into, like, what she's about. But history would be enough for you to identify who she is, right?
I'll go with religion. I'm good with both of them.
Okay.
17.
17. Yeah, you definitely know who Vala is. Vala, the just mother, is one of the shepherds, the Gold's dragon, who supposedly keeps a fortress in the mountains, like Vala's golden citadel. And, you rolled religion, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, so she is very much like the patron of, like, justice and order of law and, like, community. She's about like civilization in a lot of ways, and like the tenets that bind a civilization together, and the idea that, like, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and that law and order, the way that like we protect those who, like, need to be protected, right, from each other, from our worst impulses. But she's very much like the keeper of, like, community and home, not war, like courage in the face of fear, but not necessarily like courage in the face of like violence per se. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
She's called Vala, the Just Mother.
Okay. Yeah, I
What
kind
does
of
it
like
say?
nudge Crixus.
What does Mr. Ironstave say? Because I asked him.
Yeah, hit me again. What'd you ask him?
Who is Vala?
Yeah, so I think that he says, well, if Rudo's your father, then maybe she's my mother. She's the mother of all of us. I do not know what you've heard of the tales. From what I understand, some think they're no more than legends or stories, but they're true. He says, in the beginning, the 5 shepherds led our kin and kind to this world. Well, maybe not yours, but he's like looking at you, Crixus, like, I do not know where your kin come from, or even if you have any. You're something special, boy, but Vala was perhaps the greatest among them. Great gold dragon.
These are stories? You said they're stories? Oh, Angus knows stories. He knows all about the stories. And I know Erie reads a lot too. So they would know everything about this. Have you heard anybody? Have you heard about this, Angus or Erie?
Mm-hmm. I have.
Angus, I think he looks to you at this point and he like says in Dwarven, like, is that true? You know the old tales then.
Angus responds in Dwarven. So I know some tales. I was kind of raised by a dwarven friend. Gave me the sword here, and Angus takes out the short sword of quickness that Nalus gave him. And does he look like he's curious about it? Like Angus Angus would hand it to him.
Yeah, you like you like pull it out and like show it, and he's like, I think he like whispers like, by the light, and he's like, may I? So
Oh
you hand
yeah,
it,
you betcha.
and he's like looking down at it like, this is old, boy. This is mithril forged, unlike any I've ever seen. And the forges of my homeland are the greatest that yet lie in the realm of Abrea, and that I swear it.
Well, I tell you, it saved our asses quite a few times in the last actually, but at least contributed to some ass saving, if you know what I mean.
He says, this is a blessing. You were raised by dwarves, you say?
A dwarf, not the plural, just the one.
Aye.
And then technically, it wasn't until I was like aged 8 or 9 or so. I know Angus would know specifically. It was when I was 10. My father died helping bring some people to the town, and he doesn't look it. He purposely, as he finishes the sentence, he's like, "I'm not going to look at Ulrich. I'm not going to look at
I
Ulrich."
think Ulrich looks down, you know. Definitely looks down. It would be obvious if he's paying attention, you know, but...
Okay. Hold on a second. I think that he's, like, looking at the sword until you say this thing, right? Like, your father died, and then he glances up, like, eyeing you. And he's like, well, your father was a hero then. He says, I do not know his name, but I'll swear it to you that Vala does. If he fell protecting those who needed help, then he died fighting her cause.
Well, his name was Holstein Brighthorn, and
Brighthorn.
yes, I'm a Brighthorn. He kind of looks up. He tries to look up at his own horns, and it's like, yeah, the ring up there on my horn is kind of the namesake of my family.
By the grace of the mother. Your name is Angus Brighthorn.
Yeah, you betch.
Brighthorn, Brighthorn, Brighthorn.
What's going on here? The only thing I can understand is Brighthorn.
I think that he says in common again, he's just like, I've heard of a legend amongst those who fought with Gural Khan. There were minotaur, giants, a great number of tall ones that stood by his side to hold back the tide of darkness that stormed through these mountains in those days. They weren't called the Drakencaern then. They'd be named afterwards for all the blood that was spilled up here. Drakens dead near every peak, so the legends say. But there was a clan, the Brighthorn clan of Minotaur. I've heard tale of them, boy.
A whole clan of us.
Aye. They say that they were there for the forging of the tomb when Gural Khan was laid to rest, that they stood at the side of the Titans when the mole was forged.
Well, you want to see kind of a cool trick? And Angus doesn't wait for an answer. He takes the ring off of his horn, and he takes a hit point of damage.
He hates that.
He's
Every
so annoying.
time.
He pricks his finger for like what's basically like almost 20% of a first level character's hit points. He pricks his finger and activates the ring.
And so we see the ring like float up above his hand, and it begins like rotating and kind of spinning, as it were, doing this crazy thing that it does. It opens up and it begins like rotating, and I think as you're like looking through the spinning edges of it, you see the image of like these stairs leading up to the great doors of this tomb. You feel it like kind of drawing you. You feel it like much stronger than you have at any point yet. Like back in the direction from which you came, just over the next pass to where you know the tomb of Gural Khan lies. And I think that Beaudry Ironstave is like, do I see what I think I see? And I think it, yep.
If I think you see the tomb, then yeah, that's what this ring has been kind of pulling us towards for the past 10 day or so.
Crixus. At this point, the dwarves have like spread out all over the place, right? There's a couple of them at like each of the kind of entrances to this these ravines here, this gully, right? Lothar is kind of like hanging out over here by these tents. A couple of them have headed into the tents.
Everybody's been talking in Dwarfish, right? So
no. Most of this is in common. There was just like a few beats there that were in Dwarfish. Okay. But at this point, Crixus, I think that you see something that is overlooked by all of your friends as seemingly like emerging from the very walls of rock themselves. Why is Taylor so tiny?
Because she's a gnome, Rich.
Good God, I don't understand why this happens every week.
It is kind of a thing.
It is. It's not fitting. As you are sitting here, Crixus, you can see on the edges of the ravine, like right behind you and across from you, at the top of them, these shapes are beginning to emerge from the stone. These like spectral, almost like incorporeal kind of shapes are coming. What do you say? What do you do?
I kind of yipe because I'm scared by these incorporeal shadow type creatures. I don't know what they look like, really. Yeah, well, I definitely yipe. I scream.
Crixus screams at this point as like these horrific, twisted, visages of shadow are like pulling, just starting to like emerge from the edges of the cliffs, and you hear Crixus like, huh? Ah! He yells, and Beaudry like turns like, dwarves! I need you guys all to roll initiative.
Oh, what the?
Awesome.
I hate everything about that. Oh my
I felt
gosh.
like, I don't know why, but I thought you were going to be like, I hate you.
No.
For like
where is
these
Eerie?
here.
Wow,
Eerie's
Crixus,
not
you were
here.
petrified so bad.
Eerie doesn't exist anymore. I'm really
Oh,
sorry.
Eerie
There's Eerie.
poops out of
There's
it.
Eerie.
So small you can't see her. Okay. Abby and I, my sister and I, were rewatching the stream, and the descriptions. She was like, "Oh, like yeah, dude!" Like the giant spider, like
Oh, nice.
scurrying across the ceiling. Like, ugh.
We have major giant spider problems happening over in the post-show recaps Discord. Those people really are not thrilled with the proliferation of giant spiders that appears to like have occurred. And I think you hear like this terrible kind of wailing of like as these figures begin like emerging from the stone itself.
No.
Are there different creatures?
Yeah, at this point you hear the dwarves yelling as a couple more that appear to be like not quite as dark. They're almost like brighter, like glimmering this sort of like pinkish sort of like radiant hue are emerging from like the other stones closing in on the dwarves up above you. Thanks to the quick wits of Crixus Copperstone, you are able to act first. Eerie, what would you like to do?
So I see this. I see the ones surrounding us.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
Yep, there appear to be 3 of them, right, that have like come out. This one here should be back against the wall. I'm sorry, he's probably like right like that.
Okay. Gosh, I
love giant spiders too, Adam. Thank you for stopping by. By the way, I'm glad to see you.
Terrible. Okay, how far away? There by the wall. I don't have a ton. We just fought a lot of things. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
It's almost like your resources have been expended.
Bummer, dude. All right,
dude.
I'm just gonna cast a firebolt at the one that is like over here by itself.
The one behind you.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
10.
10 does not hit.
Okay.
Nope, not by any stretch of the imagination. It like I think we see it just like go right through the spectral form and like deflect off the wall as it's like these mouths almost like reaching out of it, the shadowy like monstrous form kind of closing in. Eerie, that's your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna try and go like in between the tents, kind of back up a little bit.
Of course, you got it. Nope, I don't need that. I need this right here. So I'm gonna just put that there. Yeah, trouble for the dwarves. So most of the dwarves are actually missed, but I think we hear one of them like scream. And he like falls to the ground, and that's problematic.
No.
Brutal right here. That's the specters. Ulrich, you're up next.
All right. I am going to reach on my belt and grab my hand axe of throwing. And I'm going to rear back and go for this one closest to me. And let's see. First shot.
Nice.
Yeah, hits.
For 8, and then I'm going to use
just 6 because it's not a crit, right?
Oh,
yep.
true.
Okay.
And then I'm going to recall it and throw it again at the same one.
Okay, cool. The hand axe like firing out, like it like cleaves through the shadow stuff. Gosh, that's brutal. 23 hits again. No crits for you, Ulrich. And another 9. The like axe like tearing into this thing. like rips away part of the shadow stuff, snaps back into your hand before it even like cracks into the stone of the wall, and whoo, you fire it again as it like cartwheels, like tearing through this, and we see this mouth like reaching out, and the axe kind of rips apart into it. We hear it snap into the rock behind the wall where it falls to the ground underneath. Ulrich, that's your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
I think I'm just going to stay put for now.
You got it. Angus, you're up on 8.
Muted, Kurt.
That's pretty close to how you spell it, I think.
Thanks. You're muted, Kurt.
Kurt!
As you can see in the chat, I cast Bane on the 3 creatures surrounding us.
Nice.
They get
What do I have?
saving
Charisma?
throws.
Yep.
God.
Well,
Holy
What the
shit.
heck, dude?
well, they're not having it. But this one in the back here is in fact baned. I'm going to give him this little sleepy face here. That one is baned. The other 2 resist this terrible magic that you try to inflict upon them. That's your action. You got movement and a bonus action, Angus.
What's
it look like when you cast Bane?
I don't know.
Finger guns.
Okay.
Pew, pew, pew.
I'll think about that for next time.
Sure.
For a bonus action, Angus is going to take his war horn and turn to. Crixus hasn't gone yet.
Nope.
So. Bardic inspiration to Crixus.
Inspiration.
Moves me brightly. Crixus, you feel very inspired.
You know,
You
we
are
used to get
concerned about the
songs.
13
I'm going to have to
dwarves.
bring that. We need that back.
There
No,
once
it's just
that's-
you've been inspired.
There once was a cleric named Crixus
Isn't that a limerick?
who got his power from his solar plexus. He cast lots of magic. It really was tragic that the fairies that attacked us were pixies.
That's brutal. Why do we got to hate on the pixies? Angus, that's your action. That's your bonus action.
Thank
You
you,
may
Kurt. That was
move.
awesome.
That was fantastic. Very impressive.
I'm done. There's more ways than that.
I think Lothar jumps to his feet and he's like, "It never ends with you people." 2 arrows come flying. One misses. One of them does like hit this ghostly creature, but does effectively very little damage as these arrows are not equipped to battle ghosts. And he's like, "I don't want to die in these mountains. Oh my God, they're behind us. They're behind. That dwarf's dead. That dwarf's dead."
Optimism, Lothar. Optimism.
He's like ducking down by the back of the tent over here. That brings us to these horrible creatures. So one steps down in here, one here, one here. We're going to start with Ulrich. What's your AC?
19.
Miss.
Thank you.
19. That's not possible. It's 17, 19 with the shield. Is that right?
Yes.
So you have your shield out right now? It's 19?
Yeah, if I'm using one-handed, I'm
Okay.
just...
Just double checking. Yeah, I'm just trying to like track. This one closing in over here grabs at Crixus.
Wait,
What's your AC, Crixus?
so-
What?
Doesn't he like get a negative? Like, doesn't he roll D4?
Roll a 10, he's fine.
He does. He misses. I just was asking what your AC is for reference. This one here goes for Beaudry.
Do I have a shield up or not? Am I allowed to have a shield
I don't-
up or no?
I don't
14.
know. Are you? You are allowed to have it up. Sure, you would have had time.
That's a
14 or 16, depending upon if I had the shield up. 16.
Okay. I think you can have your shield up if you would like. This one here grabs Beaudry, and he's like, "Ah!" He like yells as it starts like draining at him. That's brutal. Okay. Got it. That's really bad. That's their turn. Dwarves go. The dwarves are like, "Ah!" I'm not going to roll a bunch of attack rolls for these dwarves. Unless I should. Should I? You want me to roll attack rolls? No, all right.
It makes sense.
Dwarf problems.
Dwarf problems.
Yeah, you need to roll for level dwarves.
20!
Yes, please. Roll crits against yourself.
It's going to be 13, 19. Got it. This is going to be 8 on this one right here. Yep. This one over here, though, meanwhile, just gets hit for 3, right? And meanwhile, other dwarves, like, they're, like, waking up in their tents, like, as Badri is, like, screaming. He's like, "Rah! Dwarves! To arms!" That's the dwarves. Crixus, you're up on 2.
Rudolph says, "Get away!" And what that means is I'm channeling divinity, and they get to roll their saving throw, their wisdom saving throws, I think.
Nice.
Well, maybe.
What's the range?
Not that nice.
Oh my god, dude. This one gets a minus 1d4, though, on a save at the end. So it's just a 20.
Just off.
What's the range, Crixus? What do I have to do here with the range?
30 feet.
Cool. Click the turn undead one. There should be a separate turn undead column. Just click that. But I got it. 30 feet means these guys way over here aren't actually rolling against you, right? Nope. 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 Nope.
Dag nabbit.
Dag nabbit is a different dwarf. 30 feet buzzkill. Okay, those guys, they all are just like, they're like overbearing on you as you like yell this out. You don't have quite the confidence you did last time you turned the undead. And Beaudry is like, "It's away, boy, call to your father." But they are like unrelenting. Crixus, that's your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
I guess what I'm gonna do is I guess I'm gonna move like over here.
This guy's gonna attack you if you move.
What? Wait a minute. Really? I'm staying within his range, I thought.
Okay. Yep, that works. Yep.
Wait a minute. Wait. If I move over here, he attacks me? I thought
Nope.
He thought you were leaving as opposed to rotating.
Yep.
Nope. Chaining around him.
Okay. Oops, I got Beaudry mixed up with the other dwarves. Beaudry Ironstave is going to go right now. He proceeds to He's like, he's yelling, "On me! Dwarves on me!" And he will cast Beacon of Hope, which means basically he's got like a 30-foot radius around him. For the duration, you guys will all have advantage on wisdom saves, death saves, and you regain the maximum number of hit points possible from any healing, which is cast here.
So
Nice.
awesome. I love Beacon of Hope.
Eerie, you're up on 22.
Okay.
He's just like calls out, you know, like, "Fala, protect us!"
This thing is like right in front of me now.
Indeed it is.
Don't like that. I don't like it. So if I cast, like, I'm gonna get disadvantage, right?
If it's a
You don't
ranged
get
attack,
disadvantage. Yeah, just on the attack roll. If it's a ranged attack roll, you will
Yeah.
have disadvantage. Yep.
Yeah.
You could go for
Melee
the one in
attack,
front of
you have
me.
advantage.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. She's still in melee with an enemy.
Oh,
so,
true,
like,
true.
Yeah.
It's trying to like grab at her.
I'm okay. I guess we're already into just trying to hit it with my staff.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Somebody get this gnome shillelagh.
Really? Like, man.
Nothing else. That's it. You're gonna go for it. We're going
Yeah,
to beat on him.
22.
Okay. 22 hits. Eerie swings the staff wildly. That totally hits. Roll damage.
4.
4 reduced to 2 as these things are not digging the normal weapons. Okay, that is your action. Movement, anything like that? Bonus action? You're flanking like a boss.
I know, but I want to get away from it though. I'll stay for now. I'll stay for now. See how it goes.
Oof, dwarves, you poor guys. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. That doesn't actually kill either dwarf. So that's pretty good. You hear like dwarves screaming. One of them's like, Bindle, no! And then over here we got 9 on poor Brunhild. Let's roll. Give me some dwarf saving throws. Sure.
I need that family recipe.
Nice.
No.
Good luck. Oh yeah, they're not having this. They're not having this. They're hanging tough. Holrick, you're up on 12.
All right, man. I'm going to use...
The rest of these dwarves come pouring out of the tents too, by the way.
Oh, good. That was a great sound.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Tiny bubbles.
I'm going to use my bonus action to recall the hand axe of throwing.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to take double attacks on the one in front of me.
With the hand axe, got it.
Yes,
Go for
sir.
it. 21, 13. Those both hit.
Nice.
Ooh.
Ooh, there we go.
Wow.
Whoa.
Ulrich, you just like take the axe like and you feel the resistance as the enchanted blade of this ancient hand axe like tears into this like spectral form and just rips it apart as you like pull it through quickly, like reversing the stroke and cleaving back upwards, right? And this like shadowy like essence of these things like just kind of tears off into these wisps into the air.
Is it still there?
Yeah,
Fuck.
it is.
Does it
They're
seem...
no joke.
I know. Does it seem like it's much more wispy than it was before?
It's really hard for you to tell.
All right, fair
it's
enough.
really hard for you to tell with these like spectral, ghostly undead. Ulrich, that was your action. Bonus action. Anything else? You want to move?
Bonus action was to recall. So
Oh, right. Movement. Anything?
no, I'm really hoping one of the dwarves comes. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna move
It'll attack you.
down and hope that one of the dwarves goes on the other side, so I can get
Got it.
advantage.
Yep. Angus, you're like back to back with Beaudry, you know, and I think he just growls in Dwarvish, like he's like, I'll do all I can to make sure you don't die here, boy. You're too young to die this way. Angus, you're up on 8.
Seeing Ulrich move, I think Angus is kind of going to go with. Was debating about where to go, but Angus is going to go flank with Beaudry.
Nice. Legendary. You come like darting past these other dwarves and like step in on the other side of Beaudry. What are you gonna do?
I'm attacking with the short sword of quickness.
Dwarf shit. Let's do it.
23
Oh yeah.
for 6 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then 19
Yeah, it's
for 9 points of damage.
Nice.
so the short sword like flashing the silver mithril of it, like again, like as the sword hits, you feel this like resistance and it pushes through and you like yank it, ripping out. We see these like tethers, this kind of spectral essence ripping apart, and the sword flashes again, and Beaudry's like eyes are glimmering on the other side. He's like, Vala bless the dwarf that taught you to swing that thing. For Clan Brighthorn, he like yells. Angus, that was your action. You have a bonus action?
I am done. No, this seems like a good. Just in case, I'm going to use a bardic inspiration on Ulrich. There once was a dwarf named Ulrich whose axe had a handle with a big stick. He could speak lots of tongues. Compared to these dwarves, he was young, and also compared to them, he had a big.
That's inspiration.
That is
worthy.
inspiration.
There's
I'm
the
like giving you
bar.
inspiration for that. That's like the ultimate level of like blue humor, limericks, and barding stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Love it.
well played. Lothar, meanwhile, is just like darting over here. He fires a couple of arrows, which rip through this thing in front of you, Ulrich, and he's just like, you just hear him like muttering to himself, like, "Please don't let me die. Please don't let me die. Please don't let me die here. I don't want to die." And he like goes like darting away with his like back up against this cliff over here. That's Lothar's turn. That brings us to these terrible creatures whom are on top of you. Oops. So this one's gonna go for Ulrich first.
Miss.
Well, that's a big miss. This one here, I think it wheels on you, Angus, is like the other guy hasn't actually attacked it yet. You just heard it. 9, that's a huge miss. And this one, it like, you just hit it, Eerie. It's going to go for you. 22.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Minus
Yeah.
D4?
Oh, minus D4.
It does
Will
not
that
matter.
help?
No, not even close.
18, still no dice. Okay. Eerie.
I'm a wizard. I have
I
nothing.
know.
I'm a-
I'm just saying.
Oh no! I'm like about to die, Angus.
That was an accident.
Take a deep
An
breath.
accident.
Take a deep breath.
Oh,
Oh my god!
That's 29 points of necrotic damage, Eerie. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Do I take the full damage no matter what?
Just make the saving throw.
I'm about to like have a fucking panic
I'm
attack.
down. I am down.
permanently reduced the hit points by 29.
This is really bad. Eerie drops.
Yeah, but the hit point maximum is reduced by 29.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
have
more than she
5
has.
temporary hit points and 24 total hit points. I am
dead.
down. I am down.
Eerie's dead.
I'm dead. I am dead.
She doesn't even make a death saving throw.
No.
Like
What's her hit point max?
24.
Oh, I thought that's her hit point maximum?
Is that correct? Eerie dies. Crixus, as you're like looking past this thing, you see it grab your tiny sister, the gnome, and these like many maws kind of like reaching out of her. They proceed to just like overwhelm her. The entire like spectral form like just drags Eerie into her, and she's like this like gasp. The staff like falls loose from her hand, clattering off the stone, and she just like gasps and falls lifeless at the ground next to you. That's the race. That's all 3. That's brutal. I should have hit the priest.
I can't even mark on my tattoo. There's no saving throw.
Badri Ironstave. Like his head snaps and he sees this and he's just like, no! He like roars and he like darts away from this wraith in front of him, which takes an opportunity attack at him and misses. his shield like shoving away the like many maws and mouths of this thing. And he comes like racing towards Eerie, like get her, pick her up. And then he just like his head like points to the sky, and he screams at the top of his lungs, "Father, not like this! Save her!" And he casts Revivify.
Yes. Oh my gosh. The luckiest fucking cleric around.
And he reaches down, like grabs hold of you, Eerie. You like gasp. Your eyes open. You feel this like horrible racking pain. You're like shaking, your body frigid from the cold. And there are just dwarves like all around you in like this tangled mass. Crixus, you're up on 2.
Holy moly.
I scream out.
That was scary. That was scary for a minute.
Wow.
I thought you were going for divine intervention. I'm like, this is what it comes down to. Holy crap.
I was horrified right there. Like, oh my god, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, that's how dangerous these guys are. Eerie, you have 1 hit point.
I have 1 hit point.
Crixus, you're up on 2.
I was just waiting. I'm sorry, guys.
You're okay.
What I do is I scream out, "Eerie, no!" Fortunately, she looks like she's no longer dead.
Well.
But not doing well. "Rudo, I don't forgive you for this." That's what I say. And then I'm going to. I guess the first thing I'm going to do is I'll use, what's that thing called? Sacred Flame at the wraith in front of me.
Got it.
Okay. All right, that's a fail.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. It takes 6 points of radiant damage.
And then I'm going to use my bonus action and cast Healing Word on Eerie at 2nd level casting.
So that's 8. It's automatically full. It's full HP because she's still within the Beacon of Hope. So that proceeds to be 4 plus 4 plus your wisdom. That's 11 hit points you get back, Eerie.
Nice.
Luckily for you, because you died, your hit point maximum is no longer reduced to 0. It's a very sophisticated series of interactions that's just happened there. You get 11 hit points back. You're now at 12, which is half your total. And Crixus, that's your action. That's your bonus action. The dwarves all seem to be like rallying around Eerie.
All things considered, Eerie, death might have worked out good for you this time.
Really might have. The dwarves all come like swarming around you, and they proceed to like just like take up the space as they're like pushing around you. One of them is like grabs you. Do you like resist? Is my question. Like as the dwarf like grabs you and starts dragging you away, are you resisting it?
Not at all. There's
From the
no
first
way.
second, she was trying to figure out how to get the hell away from this thing.
Yeah, no.
One of the dwarves like pulls you to the back of the tent. These dwarves all are gonna go.
And can the doors in the lower right tent come too?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, they can. It's 13, 17, right? Okay, this one here is -2. This one
Can't
here.
Vector die.
Dwarves up here. I got too many dwarves. I'm sorry.
Too many
I did
dwarves.
not expect all 13 dwarves to live this long. Okay, dwarves up here doing work. Yep. Not a lot of work, but you got to start somewhere. Those dwarves all go. These dwarves are gonna go. Those dwarves are gonna go. These dwarves come like racing over here, right? Okay, those dwarves. Let's go for the bottom dwarves. This is advantage dwarf. This is other not advantage dwarf. That works. Not advantage dwarf. No dice. Meanwhile, last dwarves. What do I got here? 2 more dwarves. 3 dwarves. This is advantage dwarf with Halric. That's a miss, and these are advantage dwarves over here with Crixus.
Advantage.
Those dwarves. That one actually did some work here. This one gets a piece of the Eerie Slaying Wraith for 4. Got it. Okay. Dwarves. Eerie, you're up on 22. Your staff is like no longer in your hand. It's laying over at the feet of the stupid wraith that just killed you.
Oh, shoot! I need that.
When your initiative is higher than your hit points, you might be a wizard.
I just want to say it. Andromeda's Vesk, that was her initiative or her armor class.
Okay. But I don't have my staff. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think you don't.
You're at range now, though.
No, yeah, that's.
I don't know that you don't need material components for everything.
You're at range.
Yeah, but I don't. Like my staff is like my focus.
You don't. You only need that for material components, though.
That's true. But I'm sure I probably need that. Oh no, I don't need that for Firebolt.
Nope.
Right.
You don't.
Great. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Look at the rate that hit me. And I sent a fireball at it.
Damn.
Like
26.
angry now that I've woken up and being like dragged across the ground. To at least have my movement to stand and like chuck a fireball at it.
Oh,
Which
nice.
hits. Go ahead and roll
26?
damage. Yep.
Whoa!
Oh!
Love it. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it like crashes into this wraith as it's like looming up over the rest of the dwarves, and like fire like searing through it, the spectral essence kind of like burning off of the thing. The dwarves are all like, ah! They're all like roaring. Eerie, that's your action. You still have half your movement.
Yeah, I will like back up like by Lothar over here.
Yeah, you're damn right. I think that
Yeah.
Lothar, or it's not Lothar's turn yet. Okay.
Has Eerie finally learned her lesson about being in melee combat? Maybe.
Wow, I don't know. Maybe. These 2 specters, unfortunately, both have advantage as they're hammering away at the. Oh. No. This guy's still miraculously on his feet. Okay. Yes.
Nice.
Okay. That's the wraiths or the specters. Halric, you're up on 12.
I'm in a position where I get advantage on the one in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna take 2 swings at it again. Just go to town on this thing.
20!
Yeah.
25 hits. The 20
Baby
hits.
Murdo or whatever. Rolled up.
8. And 16. That is 24. Holy shit. You're going to be pissed if you watch this back. It is like not destroyed. As you like, whoa, you bring this one like overhand cleave down through it and like ripping it apart. And then the second hit, you like bury like part of your arm into the mass of this ghost, like ripping through it. The axe like tearing pieces of it away.
Dude.
And now it's very like thin and insubstantial. You can tell like it's barely clinging to whatever unlife holds it together here, but it is not destroyed. Halric, that's your action.
That's it, man. That's all I got.
Got it. Angus, you're up on 8.
So tempting to just run over there and help you finish him off.
Do it. Do
Don't
something
do
to
it.
kill this thing.
Crix is like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Why
Yeah,
not?
because you might get attack of opportunity.
No, it already took its reaction this round.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I would stay. That's too meta. I will stay here and attack this thing with my short sword. 26
Hits.
for 6 piercing.
Mm-hmm.
20
Nice.
for 9 piercing.
Nice. Again, the short sword just like
Hold
flashing
it.
in like these double
Hold it.
arcs.
Use your bardic inspiration to do additional damage. On the
Too
critical.
late. It's too late, man. It's too late. I forgot it. It's what it is. It's okay.
Next time.
I think Lothar steps forward and he like grabs you. Like, are you all right? Are you all right?
I'm fine.
You were dead? You looked like you were dead?
Shut up.
Holy shit, we're all going to fucking die up here. He fires 2 arrows. Like, we're all gonna fucking die. Lothar. Those are both hits. Lothar puts 2 arrows into this specter
He
near
kills
you.
it.
No, I don't think so.
I think so.
He
And
did.
it is
Whoa.
destroyed.
Oh my God.
We see the arrows like rip through this wraith, like, and then he's
Wow.
like,
It's impressive.
he's like panting in front of you, and he like steps very defensively in front of you, Eerie. You cannot help but note Lothar, protective instincts kicking in.
Oh, and he got bigger. Oh,
Yeah, he did. That's so tough.
that was awesome.
They go. The wraiths go. I just realized how microscopic they were. I was like, this is not entirely appropriate. Lothar is small, but he's not the size of a chihuahua.
No, Erie's probably shorter than him.
Yeah, I know. And your token,
right.
unfortunately, it's such nice art,
No.
can't be much smaller than that. This guy goes to grab Angus. 24?
Yep.
Please no.
Come on.
That's 23 points of necrotic damage, and I'm going to need a constitution saving throw.
1 second.
Mhm.
Alexa, what's
This
41 minus
one.
23?
21 minus 23 is 18.
18. Thank you. Okay.
Alexa, stop. That was last night. That was last.
Yeah, he really gave it to Alexa, man. He was not having it. Angus not having this bullshit. So you like feel this like wraith grab you, draining the life from you, like. But you are able to like grit your many molars and keep it together. Your hit points are not permanently reduced. Meanwhile, this wraith swarms Beaudry, who fails his con save, losing 17 hit points from his max.
He minus D4.
Oh, yes. Actually, I need you to make a concentration check. Because you got hit first.
Make a concentration check.
It's just a separate con save, the difficulty of which is going to be 11. You fail. Bane drops, and so this wraith does in fact hit Beaudry.
But weren't they technically attacking at the same initiative point?
Yes. Okay, I'll give it to you. This is well litigated. Beaudry does not lose permanent hit points. You might need him to raise somebody from the dead again before this fight's over. But he's out of 3rd level spells. That was the Wraiths.
Oh.
Beaudry goes on 4.1. He is... Man, he's still got the beacon of hope up.
So it missed him.
Yes, it missed him. I gave it to you. It missed him. He's going to attack. He's just going for it. He proceeds to swing his maul at this thing in front of you, Crixus. to it. He has advantage 25 hits for 9 bludgeoning damage. And let me just double check a thing here. No, unfortunately, that does not help him. But he does like hammer into this thing. That's -4. Got it. That's Beaudry. Crixus, you're up on 2. He's like, fight for your life, boy. Fight for your father.
I send out purple fuzzy balls at the wraith in front of me.
Technique.
Now I have the Price is Right theme song in my head. Got it. What am I making here? Dexterity saving throw. The Bane is in fact down 19. It makes it no Bane, no damage. Crixus, that's your action. Bonus action?
I guess. Jeez, I don't know. I'm gonna do a spiritual weapon on it too.
Okay, sick.
Sweet.
What'd you hit with what armor class?
18 I rolled.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
8 force damage.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. This is very good. Very good. Okay. What is your spiritual weapon? It's like a glowing dragon, right? It's this like little glimmering turquoise dragon.
It's no, it's like yeah. I thought it was like a maw. No. Yeah, we'll say it's a glowing dragon. That's right. It's a glowing dragon that's attacking it. Yeah.
Okay. Dwarves. We're gonna start at the bottom. Here's the 2 with Angus.
Yikes, guys.
Advantage dwarves. Yeah, 20. Advantage dwarves doing work. That's gonna be 5 and another 5. Wow. Yeah. Go you guys. They're just like hammering away with their little war picks. These 2 dwarves, this guy is gonna just give some help. They all come like swarming in, right? Yeah, 20s!
Wow.
These dwarves are fucking shit up. Okay, that's going to be 13 plus 14. That's 27 plus 3. That's 36. In half is -13. These dwarves are like hammering away at this thing, but unfortunately it's all like doing half damage. This dwarf is like just standing in front of you guys like, and then he charges over here. He's going to try to help his silly buddies. These 3 are all attacking that thing on the
Is it just
like
me?
left.
But I've noticed there's a lot of 20s being rolled tonight.
I know.
Is that just
you're
me?
not wrong.
I just
No.
am I randomly noticing this?
Oh, it's a little ridiculous.
There are, but there were actually a lot of 20s rolled last week as well. I was like listening back to the episode, like my word, there was a lot of 20s popping up.
My word.
That's exactly
Yes,
what I said
indeed.
too, because I'm basically a 100-year-old man, like
Oh,
James Buchanan Barnes.
I listen.
I only say observations like this when it's like when the DM is rolling like in an ornament, really ridiculous amount of 20s. The players
For the
different.
dwarves
You're right.
on your
There's no
side,
20s.
right? There are 13 NPCs making attacks
Yeah.
here, all of whom are on your side. It's
Well,
just-
thank God for
I just
that.
want to contextualize. Erie, you're up.
If it wasn't for that, by the way, you know where we'd be, right?
Yeah, definitely with Erie and the other side. The dwarves are all like going wild with their picks, right? They're like swinging madly. And I think you hear them yelling like, Captain! Captain, we cannot fight them! These weapons do no damage! Erie, you're up on 22.
Where did that yell come from? To the upper pass or the left
Oh,
pass?
both. Yeah, they're all like yelling. They're just like, ah, damn ghosts! Ah!
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, 'cause they're in
Yeah.
bad shape.
I'm gonna shoot at
Someone
the
pulled out the jacket.
specter that's near the dwarf that's down.
Okay, this guy. Okay.
No dice.
You have wild variance on these rolls, Erie.
I
It's really
really
impressive.
do.
It's like seriously very impressive how much like missing and hitting both you do.
Yeah.
Erie, that's your action on 22. You have movement. You want to try to move?
No, I think I'm good. I'll stick with.
Good.
with Lothar.
Good. Lothar doesn't want you going anywhere. These specters are up. They're going to. Here's for dwarves on the left. Oof. 13 and 10. Dwarves. God bless you, soldiers. Let's go. This is Bindle and... Oh!
No, Bindle.
DC 10.
Oh, yeah. They're actually in good shape.
Okay.
I keep mixing them up with the other ones. These dwarves have not been hit much, fortunately, so far, and thusly they're hurt. They're just ah! It's so cold. Meanwhile, these two specters over here on the other side, they're gonna go. 15 misses. The 22, however, does hit. This guy's in bad shape. Yep, he drops. Another dwarf drops over here clang! And I think you hear the dwarves screaming, Captain! No! He's they done got Macron! They killed Macron! Ulrich, you're up on 12.
I don't think they get advantage on death saving throws.
Yeah, no, they don't. They're not in range.
Oh.
Disappointment.
You're such a dick to your NPCs, Rich.
I know.
He's making his own life easier when they die.
That part is true. It's not wrong.
It's not wrong.
Ulrich's going to come charging down and just go in there swinging. I mean, again, just 2 shots with the hand axe. Let's see what happens.
Okay, you do in fact have advantage. 20! That's 12 plus 17. That's 19 altogether. 2 cleaves.
Nice.
This thing, you're ripping apart at it. The axe tearing into the shadow stuff. The dwarves next to you, I think, they roar in dwarven, he's like one of the heroes of old. Vara, brush this one! Ah! They're screaming madly, Ulrich, that's your action. That's it, right?
It's
That's
still
it, man.
Jesus Christ.
It's very thin and wispy, like the last.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm adding the D6.
Oh,
Come on, I remembered.
Yeah.
Right?
you do.
Add the
you
D6.
did remember.
There hasn't been a
And
roll
So if you add it to the
since.
crit, you get to roll it twice. So that's 2 plus.
All right.
No, it's D8. It's D8.
It's
not
D8.
Oh,
Yeah.
even sicker. Yeah,
sorry.
Angus is
Can
no
I re-roll?
bullshit.
Can I re-roll?
Yeah, 2d8.
2D8.
2.
I'm getting it. Oh, yeah.
2? John.
2, John. 2.
Fuck
I'm
all
just
you.
kidding. Do you know what's wild? That's exactly what you needed. -8. With the fury of motivation from Angus's air horn, I mean ancient horn, you are able to rip this thing to pieces. And then now the dwarves next to you are he's a legend! He's a legend! They're banging the war picks into their shield Baudry, Captain Baudry, this one's a legend of old. Angus, you're up.
I was going to measure.
Hold on. I got movement left, right?
Yeah.
I'm going for it. I'm running right in there. I know. It's okay.
Yeah, surround and drown. We love that technique.
Can Eerie
Angus.
shout something?
Sure.
All right,
I like
Eerie.
how I thought of
Wait.
it.
Yeah. Sorry. You go ahead.
No.
Eerie,
Don't.
okay.
Hang on. Go ahead. No, I'm measuring some stuff. I followed an arrow that wasn't correct.
I was gonna say the end of Eerie's turn or something. Whatever. She just shouts guys, give him any weapons you aren't using. The adamantine.
Darn it.
I think you get more turn. Okay, so Angus, you come charging up here. Now what?
That's all I can do. I'm out of range of what I wanted. I'm literally 35 feet away. So I needed 30 feet. So I'm done.
Well, you still have an action and movement, and you definitely could get to here with 30 feet. You could move another space in 30 feet. This is not like you could easily skirt around the edge of the tent, right?
Or just checking something.
Mhm.
Oh, darn it. Okay. I'm casting Bane on these two.
Yeah. What does it look like this time?
Same as last time, Rich.
Excellent. Angus just closes his eyes for a minute, opens them, and these two raids are suddenly like. Okay, they both fail their saving throws. They are baned.
A red cape materializes in front of each one of them and flaps over their heads, and then goes away.
Of course it does. Of course it does. The Matador strikes. That's your action. That's your movement bonus action.
I am done.
Lothar is just like, I can't hit that one. He like wheels around over here. He's gonna take a shot at these two. He aims at the one that you went for, Eerie. That's a miss and a hit. His little crapo arrow does do a little bit of work. That's Lothar. The Wraith goes. There's only one Wraith left. It's completely surrounded by the lot of you. I think that... what do I do here? I'm going to roll. I'm going to give it the old D8 treatment, starting clockwise. 1. It's going to try to just obliterate this poor dwarf.
Oh.
He's like, as he like growls, like choking back the pain, and believe it or not, homeboy is still up. He does not die from that.
Jeez.
Though it hurt pretty badly. That's the only Wraith. Beaudry goes on 4.1. He proceeds to... how do you look, Crixus and Hallrick? You guys are still all right?
Yeah.
I have not been touched.
Of course not.
I'm just saying it.
I believe you.
Yeah, I wasn't either until I got hit. Once.
He's not going to drop this mantle of protection. He just proceeds to go with the maul again. Oops, I forgot he got 2 attacks around. He should have gotten an extra attack last time. 20! That's 3 plus 18 is 9. That's going to be 12 altogether. Son of a bitch. It's still up. He's like pommeling away at this thing with his maul. Crixus, you're up.
Okay.
He's just like swinging madly, right? Mohawk like whipping
Sacred
left and
Flame.
right.
And I guess I'll just do Spiritual Weapon too, just for fun.
Well, hold on. It made its thing. Spiritual weapon hits. Roll the spiritual weapon damage.
Oh.
Nice. So we see like the dragon's more like grasp down, like ripping apart this thing, and it vanishes.
Yes.
And Beaudry like raises them all up, like, Feruldo! Now save the boys! Crixus, that was your action. That's your bonus action. You still have movement if you would like to move and reposition. You could also move the spiritual weapon up to 20 feet.
As a bonus action? Oh yeah, why not? I'll move it north. Yeah, I'll move it north 20 feet of me.
Dwarves were starting up in the top left. Okay, that guy hit. Dwarves over on the right. These are advantage dwarves. Those are both hits.
Nice.
Okay. Good God. They're just like they're like going with this death by 1,000 cuts technique here.
Yeah.
It's the best they could do. Okay, that's those guys. That's those guys. These two just went. These three can't attack. They're actually going to use the rest of their actions to dash in, to situate themselves for advantage getting. They have very little fear, despite the fact that they're dying left and right. That's all the dwarves. You're up on 22.
Wow.
Okay.
They're all like roaring, by the way. Like, I'm trying not to be too obnoxious, but they're like, for Captain Iron's name, for the legend Ulrich, Baruldo, they killed Macram! You know, a lot of like crazy dwarvish screaming happening. Eerie, you're up.
I will just... I've been...
20!
I've literally been going back and forth. Hit and miss.
You have insane variance on these rolls.
Wow.
Eerie, you blast this one, correct?
Yeah.
The killer of dwarves over here?
Yes.
The fire like cracks into it and it just roars as though the thing is made from like a paper bag. It like explodes in the fire, evaporating instantly. And I think Lothar is like, holy shit, you get powerful when you die.
Yeah.
Eerie, that was your action. You have movement and a bonus action.
No, I'll just stay.
Hey, Mike, I know you had said you moved Crixus' spiritual weapon 20 feet, but you didn't move it.
I don't even see it.
It's spinning right above your head.
Oh, I don't think he's allowed to move that token, probably. Where do you want to move it to, Mike? I'll give you access to it right now.
I don't even see it, to be honest with you. But I guess my eyes are really bad. But
It's right above the tent.
It's literally like right above your token, yeah.
Oh, that little box thing?
The little
Oh, they
square
can't-
there's a sword that's rotating. You may not if
I don't see it.
yeah.
That's funny. On my roll
Oops.
20, there's no. I don't see it. Meaning I don't see
just
the token
show
at
me
all.
with your ruler where do you want to move it to. You want to move it towards that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's as far as you can actually get it. I accidentally re-rolled all these guys' initiative, which sucked. Oh, good God. Yeah, this is bad business. Uh-huh. These guys, meanwhile, over here.
I can't see it.
Dunzo.
They get a -4 in their attack, right? Minus D4?
Yeah, but they still, even if I roll
Okay,
4,
just checking.
their ACs are 18. Yep, but thank you for the reminder.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, you're rolling. Are there wraiths I'm not seeing?
No, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. Those should be specter damages. I'm going to actually keep the attack rolls because that's fair, but still, that's a massive amount more damage than it should have been. Okay, one of the dwarves still drops over here. This one takes not as much, which is really good. And then... Yep, okay. This is actually a really, really big deal. That was my bad. I'm sorry. I have my character sheets all like jumbled up in a jumble. Those specters have gone. They're like grabbing at dwarves left and right. Ulrich, you're up on 12.
All right, let's see. Let's see how far I can get.
How far can you get?
Up to there, so I'm gonna take off in that direction. And how far is that? That's not 20 feet, is it? No, I'm in range.
I love it, Xanatos, indeed. Just try to strike them down.
All right, I am going to throw the hand axe, and then I'm going to recall it
Mm-hmm. That
And
hits. Hold on a second. Roll damage.
okay.
You destroy
8.
it. The hand axe like cartwheels through this one and like rips the shadow stuff away, obliterated, leaving only these ones over here.
Oh, he's within range.
They
That's
sure are.
disadvantage, but
Yep.
all right. I'm gonna recall it and
Let me
throw it again.
Double check a thing.
60 feet.
No range penalty on the hand axe of throwing.
Nice.
Wow. Okay.
That's part of what's sick about it. You know what I mean? So yeah. 25 hits
Yeah.
Nice.
for
For
9.
nine.
That's sick. So the hand axe like cleaves into this
Whipping
one,
right over to Yuri.
which just like bared down on top of this poor dwarf. I'm just got to double check what my damage was here. Yeah, that's still enough, unfortunately, that this guy did go down. The Bane doesn't affect damage. Ulrich, that's your action, that's your movement, that's your bonus action. That's it, right?
That's it.
Angus, you're up on 8.
Angus moves here
Mm-hmm.
and attacks the specter with his short sword of quickness.
Okay. I think I'm going to move you
For
down a space. You
6
were in a dwarf space, but still. Got it. That hits.
Wait, no, this space is empty to me.
I see a dwarf there.
Oh, now there's a dwarf there. Sorry, the
Yeah.
dwarf was looking. The dwarf looked like it was one
Weird.
square above.
Weird. We're getting roll 20 buggy issues. Okay, that hits for 6. Second attack.
Okay. Yes.
25 hits.
For 7.
7. The short sword flashing, the mithril. I think that they're over here. The dwarves are just like screaming, "No, not Greg! They killed Greg!" And Angus, you come like racing up. You double slash with the blade of Nalus, and you rip the shadow stuff away. And they're just like, for the Brighthorn, for Greg, remember his name. Angus, that was your movement. That's your action. That's your bonus action. Lothar goes like, "These dwarves are fucking crazy," and he pivots around you over here, Eerie, and is gonna just fire again with his bow. He's shot a lot of arrows. The 16 hits. Actually, the 14 also hits.
Nice.
13 minus 6, that kills him. Lothar's arrows rip through the specter, tearing it apart as it like dematerializes, destroyed. And Lothar's like, "Is that it? Is that it? Are there more of them? Are there more of them?"
Rich.
Mm-hmm.
Are we out of initiative?
We're out of initiative, yeah.
I'm running up here and casting a Cure Wounds on him.
Okay. As we're out of initiative, yeah.
Ulrich wants to run over and pick up Yuri and hug her. That's what Ulrich's doing.
Yuri's like, she's still like shaking, and she's like, she was mad. Like, she was so upset that like she fell and in the middle of everything. And so she like, there's like no emotion, but she's like crying. So she like hugs you back and
Beaudry comes running over here and manages to braze this fellow.
nice.
Mekram lives. Yes, Mike.
If
I think you're lagging a little
check to
bit,
see
Mike.
if there are any consequences to do anything about it.
You were
Sorry.
lagging a
Can I
little
roll a
bit right
religion
there.
check? Can I roll a religion check?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely lagging.
You can roll a religion check. What is it for, though? I just didn't hear what you're trying to roll it for. What are you trying to
Whoa.
clarify?
I'm trying to figure out like what happens to like is there anything like unforeseen that might happen with these undead killing people or no? Killing the dwarfs?
Well, so you
Or no?
do know that there is this like curse that you remember from home, that like if they're not like blessed and buried properly, they may in fact raise up as wraiths again. But you also like know that there is danger in these kind of creatures, and the wraiths especially, that they could like raise new wraiths up out of the corpses of these poor dwarves. Now ultimately, Angus saved one, Beaudry saved another, but still one of them has died.
Beyond the realm of saving?
He's beyond the realm of saving through spells, unless it's still within a minute. If Crixus has Revivify, he might be able to help him. But Beaudry has no third level spell slots left.
Nope. I burned through. No, I don't. I burned through all my spells before. We didn't get a chance to. This is We got slammed in the last bottle. Like
Was it
half a tank.
Was it the same one that Crixus saved in the last battle?
Crixus saved like 5 of them in the last battle, so maybe.
Maybe.
Let's roll 1d12 and see which dwarf it was. This is rough because I know there's a couple that it wasn't. Yep, it was Mezer. Mezer is dead. And so I think that as the rest of the dwarves, like around you, Angus, you manage to heal Bindle. And the others are like kind of over here as Beaudry has healed Mecrin. The others are all kind of like leaning over Mezer, and they're just like, they got him, Captain. We're sorry. We weren't able to save him. And I think that with Halric holding Eerie and Lothar just like, this is madness. Crixus, what are you doing? You're just kind of assessing the situation?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I was doing before. Just trying to looking around this like Crixus falls to his knees and he starts just like getting upset because what happened, and I don't understand why. Why did this happen? Why did they attack us? What's going on?
And I think that, Crixus, you hear a voice in your mind. It's because you're a great hope for all who yet live. It's because... Now I'm making Ruldo Dwarvish. That's not accurate. I think you hear him like, it's because you're a great hope for all who yet live, my boy. It's because you're on the cusp of finding that which your enemies truly fear. And it's because no sword can be forged without fire and hammer. And I think that the camera like pans up away from now a dozen dwarves. Eerie, face pale, Halric holding her. Lothar panting and sweaty. Crixus on his knees. Angus, the Brighthorn, surrounded by dwarves who are all like patting him. And the camera pulls up higher and higher. We see the peaks of the Drakencairns. And as it gets high enough, I think we see over the far side of one peak to your west the entrance to the tomb of Gural Khan in the shape of 2 wyverns taking flight and lifting up from its gates. And that's where we have to leave you all this week. Dun dun dun! You guys, that was very dramatic. I was really like terrified that we actually killed Eerie, and by we I mean me. And then I was like, oh no, thank God! Like he's still got a couple of 3rd level spell slots.
I'm really like, oh my gosh, this is so lucky. I have to say, Kizviel made it from level 6 to present without dying.
Kizviel has never gone down. This is the point of the stream where we're like talking about characters that nobody has any context for except us. Kizviel is Taylor's druid in her home game, and so she's played for how long? Like 2 years without ever actually dying.
With like, she's gone down, she's like rolled saving throws, but she's never died. And
Yep.
now
I mean, not a
little
lot of
Eerie.
people have died in that campaign. Just John more than one time,
Ah,
Well,
I'm an
and
overachiever.
Mike the one time. Kurt's not died yet.
No, I was disintegrated. That was fun. And then I also got attacked by werewolves and became a werewolf. That was cool.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
yep. But yeah, now Eerie has checked that box. So
It's
Bucket list.
impressive. Yep.
Bucket
Bucket
list.
list stuff.
Bucket.
It's impressive.
The bucket list is stuff you're supposed to do before you die. I don't think dying can be on it.
I mean, can you die if you're already dead? Technically, so like I think it fits. I think that dying
where-
happens
The
while
dead
still
cannot
alive.
die. That's right.
Tobias has an opinion on that.
Well,
John's got that, right? Dead
long
cannot
discussion
die.
to be
Dead
had.
What's
never
that-
die,
what's that
yes.
phrase?
Mike, just desperate to get inside the tomb of Gural Khan, is like, oh
Hell
gosh,
yeah.
I can't wait till
I
next
want to
week.
sleep. I want to go to sleep. I need my spell slots back so bad.
That's good. That's what you should want. Yep.
Yeah,
I wanna sleep.
this is nothing compared to the. We went like 3 sessions without getting refreshed spells before. So we're fine.
You did. This is very much, in case you guys haven't picked up on it yet, this is the nature of like this adventure,
Oh,
right? It's
yeah.
like strain and pressure, right? This is like the boot on the back of your neck, like really like.
Yeah.
So. Well, anyway,
It's
that was
great.
pretty cool, you guys. I hope that was interesting and enjoyable. You've made some allies, to be sure. Beaudry Ironstave and the 12 dwarves, whose names you guys did not expect me to actually have, but you're goddamn right, I wrote them all out. Anyway, John, you don't have anything to plug, do you? Anything we should pay attention to?
Nah, man, just doing my thing.
John's happy. He's just doing his thing. He just shows up here to dwarf every Monday night, and we're glad to have him. Mike, how about you? Anything you want to plug? Anything important we should be checking out?
Yeah, Crow and Coyote, or is it Coyote and Crow? It's a new RPG on Kickstarter. I would definitely support it. It's really cool.
I saw it.
Yeah, it's like imagine the world if Europe did not settle in North America and South America.
Is that
Sick.
the one that bills itself as a One Nation, a First Nation RPG? I saw promos for that.
That's cool.
I have too. I did not read it yet, but Mike has like tipped me off to a couple of good Kickstarters, like Humblewood, which I would love to run here one day, but there's a few others, so I may well end up supporting them. That's very cool. Okay, noted. Crow and Coyote. Kurt, how about you?
I think, you know what, I'm going to try to stream on Twitch more, playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Fall Guys, and
Nice.
I've done it occasionally doing some VR. Like if I get people following me on Twitch, I will play horror games in VR so you can hear me shriek like a cheerleader.
That's
That
fantastic.
shit is
Props.
like I've not played past like the prologue of Resident Evil 7 because
Oh
it's just
my
so
gosh.
freaking creepy in VR.
Nate said it was terrifying in VR. He was like, it
It's-
really was one of the most horrifying experiences of my life. Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah. So, but if you want to follow me on Twitch, I'm at Kurt Clark. I'm at Kurt Clark on pretty much everything: Twitter,
Yep.
Instagram.
Yep.
Twitch.
You're one of my recommended streamers here at twitchtv.dm Philly, and I believe I have us set up to auto host you if you do go live. So
Oh, interesting.
follow
Well,
Kurt.
thank you.
Yeah, of course. Taylor.
With that, I've got. So sorry.
My bad.
I may have a podcast to announce next week to see if it gets off the ground Easter weekend. So,
I'm excited for that to come, and so I'm looking
knock
forward
wood.
to it.
Knock wood.
I did it. Taylor, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter at Ronnie422. I will say I'm more active on Instagram, which unfortunately somebody stole Ronnie422. So it's Miss Taylor Liz. Yeah, I'm more up to date on there. I've got my stickers on Redbubble. Going to be revamping those soon. And hopefully this week I'll be able to get my desk and get my setup. And I will also hopefully start streaming on Twitch soon. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds
Verizon.
good. Now that you're working from that studio setup, like I said, we started a cool new show yesterday. Taylor and Kurt, both a part of that. Kings of Neon, a City of Mist RPG set in a neon noir style. We will not tell you the mythic ability of their characters, but their characters are both very interesting and fascinating. Lyra Barlow and Iggy. What's Iggy's last name? Iggy
Bolton.
Bolton.
Like
nice.
Michael.
Double B's. Anyway, it was a fantastic start. Check out the VOD that's here. It'll be up on my YouTube channel this week, my YouTube DM Philly. Same deal. Scope that out. I am on Twitter at Warfred1625. Hit me up if you want to talk to me about anything's role-playing games, television, all that good stuff. Go support my friends over at Post Show Recap's Patreon. Check out Sabotage the DM. Check out Zach's Big Wave Gaming. These guys are, I think, both recommended in my streams as well. Some plans in the works with them. Thank you all. The 10 of you that are still hanging out there. I hope that was interesting. That was a lot of dwarves. That was a lot of wraiths. That was almost one dead gnome. I was really nervous about having to get new art commissioned. Anyway.
I mean, technically, shouldn't a gnome just be like a 1.5 level spell for Revivify?
Probably. We might be able to kick it down to second level, but I don't know. That seems a little, antiquated. Thank you guys all for stopping by, for hanging out. Xanatos, it's really good to see you here. I've missed you, bud. Everybody who stopped by tonight, thank you for just hanging out in the chat and supporting us. We appreciate it. And on that note, farewell.
Night, everybody.